How are you, my dear Krish? Yes. Good morning, my dear Rahul. How are
Good
you?
morning. Fine, sir.
Yes. Very good. In the previous class, we had discussed some concepts on polynomials. Right from the basics, what is meant by variable, what is meant by a constant, what is meant by a term. Yes or no? Do you remember that points? Do you remember these points? The previous class we had discussed. See here again I am showing that points to recollect that points what is meant by variable, what is meant by a constant, what is meant by a term, and what is the coefficient and literal coefficient and numerical coefficient of a term. I explained these points in the previous class. Next, what is the name of the term? How do you give the name of a term? X term, x square term. Just to close the numerical coefficient of the term, close the numerical coefficient of the term. Whatever the literal coefficients are there, we name that by that literal coefficients. This is called xy square term, this is called xy term. Like this I explained by giving some examples. Similarly, algebraic expression. I have explained what is an algebraic expression and what are the terms of an algebraic expression. Okay, my children, in these examples I have explained it clearly. Next one, like terms. What are called like terms? What are called unlike terms? I have explained by some examples also. Next, difference between an algebraic expression and a polynomial. Every algebraic expression cannot be a polynomial, but every polynomial is an algebraic expression. Okay, my children. Now, today we discuss some more points on polynomials. Zero polynomial. Suppose first I will explain constant polynomial. After that I will explain zero polynomial. Constant polynomial. For example, minus 2, pi by 3, root 2, and so on. If you observe these terms, this is one term, minus 2. 5 by 3, only one term. Root 2 is only one term. In these terms, if you observe these terms carefully, is there any variable involved in these terms? Can you find any variable in these terms, my dear children? Any variable is
No,
there in this term? So here no variable is taken place. No variable took place in these terms. So these are called constant polynomials. Are called constant polynomial means nothing but constants. No other terms will be there. In that polynomial, one and only one term will be there. That too only constant. Understood this point, my children? Constant polynomials. This is about constant polynomials. Okay. Do you remember this point? What is meant by constant polynomial? Do you remember this point, my dear children? In a polynomial, there will be one and only one term, that constant term only. No variable will be there. That kind of polynomials are called constant polynomials. Next, zero polynomial. What is meant by zero polynomial? The constant polynomial, especially the constant polynomial, the constant polynomial zero is called zero polynomial. Okay, my dear children, here 0 is also a constant and there is no variable, but especially this is called zero polynomial. Understood this point, my dear children? Now let us discuss classification of polynomials. Classification of polynomials. Classification of polynomials. There are two types of classifications of polynomials. Based on number of terms, and degree, based on degree of term. Have we discussed the degree of a polynomial, my dear children, previously? Before going to discuss this point, classification of polynomials, first we discuss degree of a polynomial. Degree of a polynomial. We are defining the degree of a polynomial. How do you define the degree of a polynomial? The highest power of the variable, the highest power of the variable the highest power of the variable in the polynomial the highest power of the variable in the polynomial is called the degree of the polynomial. The degree of the polynomial. For example, Here, if you observe the terms, how many terms are there? Two terms. Now, what is the first term called? X term. And what is the second term called? Constant term. So here in the first term variable is there. What is the highest power of the variable here? 1. X power 1. If no power is there, we can consider it as a 1. Exponent of that term is 1. So the degree of this polynomial is 1. Let us take another example. Degree of the polynomial. If you observe this polynomial, how many terms are there? Can you tell me? Anyone? Please raise.
Sir, 3 terms.
3 terms. Very good, my dear Bibina. What are the 3 terms? Tell me.
Sir, 5 and minus 2x and x squared.
X square. Very good. In these three terms, in the first term, is there variable?
No, sir.
It is called, what is this term called?
Constant polynomial.
Very good. All of you listen carefully, my dear children. These are very important points. Don't skip the class. This is the first term. Here there is no variable, so this term is called constant term. What about this second term? Is there any variable?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is this term called? What is the name of this term?
There is variable, no, sir. X is a variable, no, sir.
Then what is the term? What is the name of this term? X term. Remember this point.
Sir, x term.
This is called X term. Variable is X. X is there. So this is called X term. Now come to the third term. What is the variable here?
Sir, x squared term.
So this is called X square term. This is called X square term. There are 3 terms, namely first term is a constant term and the second term is called X term and the third term is called X square term. Then what is the highest power of X here? In
Sir,
this
2.
2. So the degree of this polynomial is called 2. The degree of the polynomial is 2. Let us take another example. Degree of the polynomial. Degree of the polynomial. Degree of the polynomial. Observe this polynomial. How many terms are there?
2 terms, sir.
Yes, very good, my dear Eileen. What are the two terms? Tell me. What are the 2 terms? Tell me.
Constant and x variable.
What is the 2 terms?
Sir, 5 and minus 2x cubed.
What are the terms called? What is the first term called here?
Constant.
Constant.
Yes, very good. All of you listen carefully, my dear children. What is the second term called?
Sir, x variable term.
X?
Sir, x term, sir.
Not X term. X
X
cube.
variable.
See here, X cube. X cube, not X term. This is not called X term. X
Okay,
cube.
sir. X cubed term.
X cube term. You have to learn these points well. Don't forget these points. This is called X cube term. Okay. What is this second term called?
X cube term.
Sir, x cubed term.
X cube term. Okay. Then what is the highest power of X in this polynomial?
Sir, 3.
So degree of this polynomial is 3. Understood this point, my dear children?
Understood, sir.
Degree of the polynomial. How many terms are there?
Sir, 1 term.
Only 1 term. What is this term called?
Sir, constant.
Constant term. This term is called constant term. Okay. Is there any variable?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So then what is the exponent of the variable here?
Sir, 1 by 2.
No, no. I asked here variable. This is a
Sir,
2,
1. Sir, 1, sir.
not 1. 0. 0. If no variable is there, we can write it as x power 0, y power 0. Okay.
Sir, then for first sum x plus 2, why did we take the degree of the polynomial x as 1, sir?
1 only. I wrote here degree of the polynomial 1 only.
Sir, then for fourth one, we are taking it as 0, no, sir?
There is no variable. We have not
Okay,
take,
sir.
we have not please observe this polynomial carefully. First of all, observation is very important. Here no variable is there. Is there any variable? No variable, only one term is there, that too constant term only. So the degree of this polynomial is 0. Understood this point?
Yes, sir.
So this is about degree of a polynomial. You have to observe the terms of the given polynomial first. After that, you have to find out the highest power of x. Highest power of x. I conclude by taking this example. Degree of the polynomial Can you tell me what is the degree of this polynomial?
Sir, cube. Sir, I mean 3.
Yes, we have to observe exponent of x. The highest power of exponent of x is 3. Here 2. Yes or no? Here 1. Exponent of x is 1. So out of these three numbers, 3 is the highest number, greatest number. Yes or no? So that number is called degree of the polynomial. Okay. Now remember this point. Degree of 0 polynomial is not defined. We say that degree of we cannot define degree of a 0 polynomial. Degree of a 0 polynomial is not defined. But degree of a non-zero constant polynomial is, but degree of a non-zero constant polynomial is 0. Okay, please remember these points, my children. These questions will be asked in MCQs. What is the degree of the given polynomial? What is the degree of a constant polynomial? What is the degree of a 0 polynomial? You have to remember these points. Degree of a 0 polynomial is not defined. Degree of a constant polynomial, non-zero constant polynomial is 0. Okay, now come to the next point, classification of polynomials. Here we classify polynomials into two categories based on number of terms in a polynomial and degree of a polynomial. Okay.
Sir, can you move the notes a little up, sir?
Okay, you have already studied this point based on number of terms in the polynomial, means monomial, binomial, trinomial. Have you learned these points or not?
Yes, sir.
Monomial, what is meant by monomial?
Sir, single term.
Yes, only one term. In a polynomial, if there is only one term, it is called a monomial. There are only two terms. There are only two terms. What is the polynomial called?
So binomial.
Yes. So here we are classifying the polynomials based on number of terms in the polynomial and based on degree of the polynomial. Okay. Now I will explain the classification of the polynomials based on number of terms in the polynomial. Here I am taking some polynomials. You have to identify number of terms. Next, name of the polynomial. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
So two.
Two terms. So what is this polynomial called?
Binomial.
Binomial. Very good. You have to remember these points, my children. How many terms are there in this polynomial? Three terms. What is this term? What is this polynomial called?
Sir, trinomial.
Yes, trinomial. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
Sir, one term. Sir, this.
Only one term. Only one term. Then what is the polynomial called?
Sir, monomial.
Monomial. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
So five.
What is this polynomial called?
Sir, polynomial.
Polynomial or multinomial?
Sir, we have learnt only till 3, sir. That's it.
Okay, okay. Or multi. Multi means more than three. More than three terms. Multinomial. Multiple choice. What is meant by multiple choice? You have four choices, yes or no? More than three choices. It is the multiple. So multinomial. More than three terms, whatever the polynomial is given, If you want to say the name of the polynomial based on number of terms, we call it as multinomial. Multinomial. Please remember this point. Okay. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
3.
Three terms. What is this polynomial called?
It's a trinomial.
Trinomial. And I will explain 2 more examples. After that, I will explain you the classification of polynomials based on degree of the polynomial. What is the polynomial called? Okay. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
Sir, 1.
Only one term. What is this polynomial called?
Sir, monomial.
Yes, very good. And last example. How many terms are there in this polynomial?
Sir, 4.
4 terms. What is this polynomial called?
So polynomial or multinomial?
Multinomial. Especially this word, we can use this word based on number of terms. The polynomial is classified based on number of terms. So it is called multinomial. All these are polynomials only. All these algebraic expressions are polynomials. But based on number of terms, we are giving a particular name: binomial, trinomial, monomial. So this is called multinomial. Of course, all these are, this is also polynomial, this is also polynomial. So here, if number of terms are more than 3, then the polynomial called multinomial. Okay. Now come to the next degree, based on degree of a polynomial. Now observe this polynomial, my children. What is the degree of the polynomial? Here you don't focus on number of terms in the polynomial. Don't focus on the number of terms in the polynomial. You have to focus on exponent, highest power of x. What is the highest power of x in this polynomial?
Sir, 1.
1. Degree of this polynomial is 1. Highest power of x is 1. So this is called linear polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is 1. What is the polynomial called? You have to remember this word, linear polynomial. The degree of the polynomial is 1. What is the polynomial called? Tell me, Trinson. What is the polynomial called? Trinson, I asked you. If the degree of the polynomial is 1, what is the polynomial called? Please raise your hands.
The linear polynomial.
Yes. Please remember this point, my dear children. Based on degree of a polynomial, we are classification. This is the classification of polynomial. If the degree of the polynomial is 1, that is called linear polynomial. What is the degree of this polynomial? Tell me. What is the degree of this polynomial?
Sir, 2.
2. Highest power of x. Highest exponent of x. Highest exponent of x or highest power of x is 2. So, this polynomial is called quadratic. If the degree of the polynomial is 2, what is the polynomial called? Quadratic polynomial. If the degree of the polynomial is 2, then the polynomial is called quadratic polynomial. Okay. You have to remember these words: linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial. Okay, my children. What is the degree of this polynomial?
So
The
3.
cube.
3. The highest power of x. The highest exponent of x is 3. So here degree of the polynomial is 3. So this polynomial is called cubic polynomial. What is this polynomial called? Cubic polynomial. If the degree of the polynomial is 3, then the polynomial is called cubic polynomial. Okay. What is the degree of this polynomial?
So 4.
4. The highest power of x. 4. This polynomial is called biquadratic. What is this polynomial called? What is this polynomial called?
So
Biquadratic polynomial.
Biquadratic polynomial. You have to identify the polynomial. You have to identify the name of the polynomial by observing the degree of a polynomial. Okay. What is the degree of this polynomial?
Sir, 0.
Very good. 0. No variable is given. This is only constant polynomial. No variable is given. So this is a degree of the polynomial is 0. This is called a polynomial of degree 0. There is no separate name. There is no separate name.
Sir,
Polynomial.
can we say it as 0 polynomial?
Okay, 0 polynomial. Yes. Or we are naming here, naming this polynomial based on degree of this polynomial. So it is a polynomial of degree 0. It is a zero polynomial only. This is a constant polynomial, not zero polynomial. This is not zero polynomial, constant polynomial. Zero polynomial means zero only. Zero only. This is a constant polynomial. This is a constant polynomial or polynomial of degree 0, or we can call it as constant polynomial. Okay, or constant polynomial. So this is about classification of polynomials based on degree of the polynomial. Okay, my dear children. Next, I will give you the standard form of polynomials based on degree of a polynomial. Previously, we have discussed linear polynomial. This is a classification: linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial, biquadratic polynomial. Okay. If more than 4, the degree of the polynomial is more than 4, in that case, we call the polynomial as polynomial of degree 5, polynomial of degree 6, like this. There is no special names. There is no special names. The degree of the polynomial is more than 4. Okay. The degree of the polynomial is 5. We call that polynomial as polynomial of degree 5. The degree of the polynomial is 6. We call that polynomial as polynomial of degree 6. Like this only. Okay. There is no separate names. Now, we discuss the standard form of polynomials or general form. Okay. General forms of polynomials based on degree of a polynomial. Degree of the polynomial. Okay, my children. See here. Linear polynomial. This is called general form of a linear polynomial where a and b are constants and a is not equal to 0. This is the general form of a linear polynomial. X term and constant term. Only 2 terms will be there. In a linear polynomial, there may be at most 2 terms, X term and constant term. Okay, my children. Next, quadratic polynomial. Then what is the general form of a quadratic polynomial? Ax square plus bx plus c, where a, b and c are constants and a is not equal to 0. So this is the general form of a quadratic polynomial. What is the degree of this polynomial? Tell me. What is the degree of this polynomial?
So 2.
So this is called quadratic polynomial. This is the general form of a quadratic polynomial. Ax square plus bx plus c, where a, b and c are constants and a is not equal to 0. Similarly, cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial. Ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, where a, B, C and D are constants and A is not equal to 0 and A is not equal to 0. This is the general form of a cubic polynomial. In this cubic polynomial, if you observe, the utmost number of terms are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. X cube term will be there, x square term will be there, x term will be there, and a constant. At most 4 terms will be there. Okay. Next to biquadratic. Biquadratic polynomial. Ax power 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e, where a is not equal to 0, b, c, d, e are constants. These are all constants, but a is not equal to 0. This is the general form of
So
a.
can you move the note up?
Yes, this is the general form of a biquadratic polynomial. You have to remember these 4. General form of a linear polynomial, general form of a quadratic polynomial, general form of a cubic polynomial, and the general form of a biquadratic polynomial. And utmost number of terms in the linear polynomial, utmost number of terms in a quadratic polynomial, utmost number of terms in a cubic polynomial, and utmost number of terms in a biquadratic polynomial. You have to observe these points well and remember these points well. Okay, my dear children. Now the time is 9 past 47 minutes. You can leave the meeting and go through these notes carefully. Okay, my dear children. Tomorrow we will start exercise sums. This is the concepts. These are the concepts for exercise 2.1. You have to learn these points well. Okay, my dear
Okay,
children.
sir.
Now you can leave the meeting, my dear children. Take rest.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care of your health, my dear children. Stay at home. Stay safe. Stay safe. Sanitize your hands frequently. Thank you all. Thank you all, my dear children.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Go through these notes carefully, my dear children. Go through these notes carefully.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, my dear Krish. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma. Thank you, Bibina. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harini. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Trinson.
Sir, can I have the screenshots?
Oh, no need, ma. I will send you. I will post these notes in the form of single PDF. Okay. Don't
Sir,
worry.
today I will not be having my laptop, so I'll not be able to open the Google Classroom.
Do you want to take screenshot now itself?
Yes, sir. So I can
Okay.
write.
Okay. Right from the first page, you want?
Yes, sir.
Uh, Okay, ma, take screenshot.
Yes, sir. Next one.
Next page.
So little down.
Yeah, yes.
So now you can
Okay.
turn to page, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shall I go to third page? Next page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next page.
Just wait a minute. Wait. Okay. Take
Yes, sir. Next page.
next page. Wait for a moment. Okay. Take.
Okay, sir. Next page.
That's all. That's
Okay,
all.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma. Thank you. Thank you. What do you want, Mansi? Still you are online? Mansi, are you there online? Yes.